Alright everybody, today we have the PT Cruiser again, and now it's got a problem with the Watts link in the rear end, so we're going to tackle that. Here's what it sounds like when you go over a bump. You get this massive thud in the rear end. So going under the rear axle of the car, right in here, this gets a lot of slop in it. We're going to replace this rod, the centerpiece, and the other rod. On the passenger side, we got a bolt to take out. It's going to be much easier if we get the spare tire out of the way. That way we can go straight in with an impact and get that bolt out. So, okay, 19 on that. Passenger side bolt out here, right there. Alright, moving to the driver's side. Passenger side had a flag nut on it, so you don't need a wrench on the other side. Passenger side bolt was an 18. Some brilliant engineer decided to put this thing right here where you can't get a long socket in there.
You know what you are? You're a dipstick! A 14-karat dipstick!
Alright, so apparently this nut is welded onto this bracket, and putting a wrench on it doesn't even do you any good, which would have been nice to know, but now you guys know that you do not have to put a wrench on the back side of the driver's side bolt. Alright, so we have this big centerpiece left. Alright, so that's a 24. This bolt is spinning all the way through. That's a 21 on the back side. Guess we got a nut and a washer on this side. So here's the whole piece. Driver's side has the long bar. You can see when I put this in here. Alright, so we got our new pieces here. Nice new tight centerpiece. You can't adjust. These must be staked in or something. These do not thread in and out. But when I match them up, they are super close. I don't think I would adjust them at all. This piece, a little different on each end. There's a raised portion here. It's going to go towards the top. And it looks a little different on each side. You can see there's just the bushing part here, and here you can kind of see the bearing and the bushing that's in there. And our shorter side too is the same thing. Can't adjust it, but lining it up, it's pretty much perfect. So this will simply go in here, put our nut on, and we'll find out what our torque specs are. I've got the new parts mocked up. We're going to tighten these to 10 foot-pounds and then 180-degree turn on each one of these. I'm going to do this in the vise to keep me from doing it underneath the vehicle. So we'll put our big washer back on. A new nut. There's our 10. Pop our cap back on. There's 10, 90, 180. Alright, so we're ready to reinstall this piece. On the top side it says back and up, and this plastic piece goes towards the front of the vehicle. So here's the rear license plate. It goes in the car like this. So you can see the tie rod end here. Black cap goes towards the front of the vehicle. So what I'm going to do is put this bushing end in first. We'll get that bolt snug. Alright, so as we're putting it in, it goes in like this. Make sure you have this end up and over the fuel tank. I already have some anti-seize on this. Put this in here. Put our flag nut on. Alright, got that tight. Now I'm going to move over to the driver's side bushing. Put that in. Snap that up. Alright, so you may have to move the axle over a little bit with your knee. Actually, you can move this side to side too. Okay, now let's tap this through. Now you can do that on this bolt only because it has this shouldered front on it where you're not messing up the threads. Otherwise you wouldn't want to normally do that. Alright, let's get our nut down here. We'll torque this to 110 foot-pounds. Put a piece of pipe on the end of your ratchet to hold it against the floor so that it doesn't spin, and you can just torque this to 110. Both of our bushing bolts get torqued to 68. So here's what it looks like when we're done. These bars will go a little flatter. We're going to get the weight on the vehicle. So all I gotta do is put the spare tire back in, put the left rear tire back on, and test it and make sure it's not banging anymore. One last suggestion I got is to take it apart like I did. Don't even mess with taking these out. But buy all new parts. It's only like 125 bucks, and then you don't have to mess around with the tie rod end separator underneath there. You take out 3 bolts and the whole thing comes out. Much easier than trying to take this out and then getting a tie rod separator in here and swinging a hammer under the car. Forget it. Alright. Rear tire is on, spare tire's back up under there. Now the real test will be when I drove over this little bump in the concrete here is where you get a big thud. So I'm really happy with that. So you, mister, you're done. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next one. Have a blessed day.